Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty and easy cowl. So if you're just learning to crochet and you know how to do like chain and double, this is going to be super easy for you to do, and it's really pretty actually. It's actually my daughter crocheted this and I just sewed it together and added the fringe. I'm so proud of her. She did it. This is her first project. So I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? It's real easy. Now I know you're going to ask about this jacket. The jacket is actually knitted. It's hand knitted, and I purchased it. It's from Iceland. It's made out of Icelandic wool. Someone hand knitted it there. I don't remember where what store it was from, but yeah, because I bought it a little while ago. But that's what that is. So I don't have a pattern for the coat. But the cowl I do, and I think it looks nice. It has a brooch here. You can leave the brooch off. It doesn't really serve no purpose other than looks. You could add a button. It's sewed up actually here. The piece is sewed up here, so you can slip it on and off quite easily. But what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty good. Looks good with this coat and his gloves and the hat actually. Maybe I'll wear it. I'm not much of a crochet wearer, but really, I like this a lot. And for me to like something like this says a lot. Maybe I'm proud because my daughter made it and I want to wear it because she made it. Enough of me talking though. Here, I'll show you how. You just slips off right over your head. Like that. Yeah. I'll keep that and wear that because I'm proud of her. It's her first project. She did most of it, and then I sewed it together, and I'm going to teach you guys how to make it. Are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, now, one proud mama here, because her daughter crocheted this. I'm going to show you how to do it too, but I'm going to give you some measurements first. When I crocheted my long piece, it was 36 inches before I sewed up the sides. I'll tell you that. I tell you that when I get to it, but I'll tell you that now also. And it's the width of it is about 8 inches. Now you can adjust the width if you don't like the way it looked. You know, you saw it on me. And you can make it longer or whatever. Or if you want to do it like me, you can follow along. But it's really easy. See, this folds over to make your collar. Like I said, it's sewn up here. And it's sewn up here, so you can just slip it on over your hat for easy quickness. This brooch is purely decorative. You can leave it off if you want, or put a button. Fringe is optional. If you want to do fringe though, you can. But remember, it's about 8 inches. Mine's about 8 inches wide and about 36 inches long before we fold it up. So, show you the yarn that I used. That brooch, in case you wondered, was from Walmart. In the button aisle. Okay, I am using a Lion brand Woolies Thick and Quick. Now this is a acrylic wool blend, and it's a super bulky number 6. And there are 212 yards in this big bundle, and this is what I have left. So I'm gonna say you're gonna need probably about 175 yards of a bulky number 6. Now you do not have to use a bulky number 6. You can actually use any weight that you want. In case you're interested though, the color I use is called gray marble. You can actually use any size of yarn that you want, because you can just chain any number of stitches and it'll work out. So it's that easy. But for the bulky 6, I used an which is, sometimes it's a 9mm and sometimes it's a 10mm. Either one of those will work. If you're using a smaller yarn like a 4-weight or a 5-weight, I would recommend a 6mm for a 4-weight, 6.5 for a 5-weight, and a 5.5 for a 3-weight. That would be my hook recommendations if you decide to change hook sizes. But like I said, if you want to follow along with me, you go ahead and you start with a slip knot on your hook. It's very easy. Now, what you want to do is you want to chain until you get it as thick as you want it to be. Now, so there's no multiple. Any number of stitches will work. For mine, I chained 18. just like that. And that made it about 8 inches wide. Now if you're using a smaller yarn, you can chain more in any stitch count to get it to the width that you want it to be. So your chain is the width of your project. And now we will build the length. So once you get your chain, I chained 18, we're going to go ahead and do a double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. Remember, we don't count the one that's on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, put a double crochet. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in every single stitch for the length of the chain. So I've made it to the end, and now you should have a total of 16 stitches, and that's counting this chain here on the end. If you count that one, you'll have 16. And that is a number you will have for at the end of every row from now on. So unless you started with a different number, you'll have 2 less chains, or 2 less stitches than the number of chains that you had. But following along with me, we'll have 16. So row 2 is actually the repeat row for the whole pattern. So what we do is we chain 1 and we turn our work. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. It does not count as anything. What we're going to be doing is just working double crochets in the back loop only. So if you flip your work, we're going to work right back into this very first stitch here. It's always the hardest one to do, but if you look at it, you'll see that there's 2 loops. There's the one closest to you is the front loop, and the one furthest away is the back loop. We're going to do a double crochet in that back loop only. Like I said, this first one is always the hardest one to get. Here we go. And now we're going to work 1 double crochet in the back loop only of every stitch until we make it to the end of the row. Just like this. And as you can see, it kind of, if you flip it over, or no, right here, it kind of creates a little bit of a ridge. That's what the kind of the stitch definition that you were seeing on the cowl. It's very subtle, but it's an easy way to get a little bit of a definition for beginners that have a hard time making bobbles and post stitches. This is a nice, easy way to make a garment have texture without having to add a lot of work to it. So you go ahead and work this until you 1 double crochet in the back loop only until you get to the end of the row. Alright, once you make it to the end, you still should have 16 stitches. If you're following along with me, you'll have that at the end of every row. Now we're just going to keep repeating row 2. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Now remember, right back in this first stitch, we double crochet in the back loop only. It's always the hardest one because you got to kind of flip it backwards to find that back loop way back there. There we go. And then it's kind of hard here. Once we get that down, the rest of the row is easy. 1 double crochet in the back loop only until you make it to the end of the row. Now we're going to keep repeating this. 1 double crochet in the back loop only. Rows and rows and rows. 16 stitches at the end of every row if you're following along with me. Until you get your piece approximately 36 inches long. And then we will fold it up and sew it. And as you can see, by working in the back loop only on every round, it does give a bit of definition there. Just a little bit. It's kind of cool. So just continue working your rows of 1 double crochet in every stitch, back loop only every row, until your project reaches about 36 inches in length. Alright, so I've made mine as long as I'm going to make it. You see what it looks like on me. If you want yours to be a little longer, you can, but I'll tell you the measurement of mine at this point before I sew it together. It's exactly right on the nose, 36 inches long, so 3 feet. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and tie off my last row here. And now we're going to take our piece and we're going to fold it. So I got my fold and sew it together. Okay, so I got my piece laying here. Both sides look the same to me, so it really doesn't matter which side you choose. But you want to take this side and bring it over like this. And then we'll take this side and we're going to bring it over like this. And then what we'll do, these will fold up around your neck like this. And we'll sew this together and this together. And then you'll just be able to slide it right over your neck. And then if you want to add fringe, I probably will add a bit. Also, you can add a nice pretty brooch or button or something anywhere that you'd like, if you'd like to do that. Remember, this will fold around your neck like that, so it'll be kind of like that. I'll probably use some brooch, but because I like blingy stuff, but we'll see. But anyways, to sew it together, I guess I could have left a longer tail and done it that way, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a yarn needle and a piece of yarn. So I cut a piece of yarn about 3 foot long, probably, and you're going to go ahead and use a yarn needle. And I'm going to sew it right side out. So the way I'm sewing it is the way it's going to be. And I'll show you one more time how I folded that. So take one side, bring it down like that. And then this side, you bring it over to where this side is flush with the side over here. Like that. And then we sew this area together and then this area together, and remember, this will fold up around like a collar. So I got my yarn needle, and to sew it together, I'm just sewing it with the right side facing me. I'm just gonna neatly and sew it up back and forth. I'm also gonna put fringe on mine a little bit. Now that's something you don't have to do, but just neatly, kind of like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be extremely tight either, just enough to hold it there. If you don't want to sew it, if you prefer to leave it open, you can do that and then put it around yourself each time, and then put, use a big button or something. Some people do that, but I just think it's easier to sew it. That way it's always in the place that it's supposed to be, and you don't have to worry about adjusting it or anything, especially if you're in a hurry. You can just grab it and go. So I'm sewing it up like this, as you can see, back and forth. And this is the right side of my work. I'm not going to be flipping it inside out or anything. So, but I guess you always could. It would look the same, but the seams are not going to really be visible. See? Plus I'm putting fringe down it. So I'm going to sew it up just like this down here, and then I'm going to sew up to here to where these ends meet, and then I'll meet back up with you when I finish that. Alright, so I've got it sewed up to here. Now what I'm going to do is just kind of weave in my tail just a bit to hide it. Maybe along the back side, underside here. And then I'll weave in these tails here, and I'll show you how I add fringe if that's something that you want to do. If not, you could possibly be finished. I'm going to go ahead and hide these tails here and this tail real quick. Okay, so if you want to be done now, you can be done. But like I said, I'm going to add a little fringe. One other thing I want to mention is some people do sew this up here. I don't usually do that. Like I said, I usually put a brooch or something there, or, but you can sew up here too if you feel like it's flapping over. That's up to you. Or a button or something. Sew a button on there to hold it, or just make sure you don't go through to the other side or back here. But I'll probably put like a brooch. Maybe. I'll do something. But anyways, go back to the fringe. Now, if you want to add fringe, you can. what I did is I cut some pieces of yarn, approximately 12-15 inches long. Yep. And I'm going to put 2 pieces together. I'm going to take my big hook and I'm going to start where we started sewing. I'm just going to kind of go through like that from the back side, pull them through, and grab both pieces, kind of even them up here at the top, and then I take and pull them through that loop like that. And you can trim them up a bit later. I'm going to just kind of evenly space them out. I mean, I don't really have a specific stitch that I'm putting in them in. I'm just kind of maybe space them out 1 inch apart or so, trying to. Now this is only if you want fringe. You definitely don't have to put fringe on it. Some people just hate fringe, and that's understandable. Everybody likes what they like. So that's what I'm going to do all the way down this side and then all the way up here to where I sewed. And then I'll meet back up with you when I'm finished with that. Okay, once you are finished with your fringe, if you decided to put fringe, you can be done. I just put a brooch here for decoration, but that's it. That's all there is to it. I think it's really pretty. I really like it. So I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope you're able to follow along okay. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit that thumbs up on this video. Check out all my other videos. I got like over 1,000 videos, hundreds and hundreds of, most of them are hundreds and hundreds of tutorials, lots of yarn content, giveaways, all kinds of stuff. My channel's fun. It's cool here. Hit that subscribe button so you don't, and the notification bell so you don't miss out. Thanks everybody for watching, and as always, stay safe. Bye bye everybody.